Good to have your company. 0586 861 003 is the number. Lachlan Kitchen here. 800 81003 to get in contact toll free as we give you an update of the match that's being happened in the World Cup. It's South Africa versus Zimbabwe. It's a match that's been affected due to rain that's been affecting much of Australia over the past few months. Batting first, it was Zimbabwe, 79 for 5. And then now it is South Africa doing it easy at 24 without loss. 0586 861 003. Well, it's a question many people do ask themselves. What's the official retirement age? And how can you get a work permit if you do pass that retirement age? To get more details on this is the partner at Hamdan Al Shamsi, lawyer and legal consultants, Ahmad Al Khalil. Thank you very much for joining us again on Talk 100.3.
Hi, Tej. Thank you for having me again. Pleasure to be here.
No, it's always good to chat to you. So it's an interesting question. So currently, what is the retirement age? Is it 65?
I mean, that is a bit of a loaded answer, yes. Unfortunately, because the old law has a ministerial resolution attached to it that said that the official age is 60.
Okay.
However, the new law and the ministerial resolution that came about with it does not mention the age.
Right.
So if you want to look at the way the laws work, that most of them, and the new one does this, if there is something that has not been dealt with in the new law, they normally apply the old one. So officially, unofficially, it's 60 years old. However, there was a caveat within the law that said that you can extend it to 65 years of age, provided, it depends on whether the individual has specific set of skills that are needed for the company, his, expertise. It really depends on a situation by situation, and you can apply to extend it to 65 years of age.
Now, what happens if I am working at a company? I've just say I've been there for 5-10 years. I'm in my late 50s. Is it a conversation you have with your employee? I'm guessing it's a conversation you would have with your company as to whether they're looking to sponsor you beyond that age of 60 and go to 65. But is it possible to start work as a freelancer? Can you come here after the age of 60 and have your own insurance and have your own visa and start working?
Well, I mean, to start off with that, I think the first question is you'd have to discuss the age of the 65 with your spouse first before the company if you want to continue to work. But I mean, the short answer is there are solutions to people who want to come in after the age of 65. You have the options, for example, of the golden visa. You can come in and apply for a golden visa, provided that you adhere to certain requirements like owning a property or multiple properties that are valued at more than 1 million dirhams, that's one of them. You can apply to set up your own company. So you are a shareholder in the company and you become the manager on it, so you can exercise the activities that you've listed for that company. So there are solutions to doing it. The question becomes, as an employee, would you be able to obtain a visa from a work permit, first of all, from the Ministry of Human Resources and Amortization. Mm-hmm. And secondly, if the immigration has to also provide their approval. We haven't seen it yet, again, because the law came into effect in February of this year. So we might have to wait a little bit longer for there to be that, patient zero case to be filed, so that they give us some further guidance on it.
I understand. Do you know of any examples of people working here into their 60s and 70s?
Quite a few actually. But I think with most of them, they've set up their own companies, and they are shareholders in those companies, and grant themselves those non-objection certificates to be employed with the others.
I understand.
So their insurance, their visas, all of those documents are actually with the company they set up rather than the employer. So I can't say that I've seen anybody above 65. No, it hasn't crossed me. So to people who want to come in after the age of 65, you have the options, for example, of the golden visa. You can come in and apply for a golden visa, provided that you adhere to certain requirements like owning a property or multiple properties that are valued at more than 1 million dirhams, that's one of them. You can apply to set up your own company. So you are a shareholder in the company and you become the manager on it, so you can exercise the activities that you've listed for that company. So there are solutions to doing it. The question becomes, as an employee, would you be able to obtain a visa from, a work permit, first of all, from the Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratisation? Mm-hmm. And secondly, if the immigration has to also provide their approval. We haven't seen it yet, again, because the laws came into effect in February of this year. So we might have to wait a little bit longer for there to be that, patient zero case to be filed, so that they give us some further guidance on it.
I understand. Do you know of any examples of people working here into their 60s and 70s?
Oh yeah, quite a few actually. But I think with most of them, they've set up their own companies, and they are shareholders in those companies, and grant themselves those non-objection certificates to be employed with the others.
I understand.
So their insurance, their visas, all of those documents are actually with the company they set up rather than the employer. So I can't say that I've seen anybody above 65. No, it hasn't crossed me so far.
Yeah.
That they're employed after 65.
No, they're on their own visa, or they've got their own company and their own investments here. Makes sense. But
correct.
For someone who has been here and you're looking to try and get yourself that retirement visa, what are some of the requirements if anyone's looking to retire in the UAE?
So the retirement visa, I'm not 100% sure about the visa itself, but like I said, they've come up with a couple of solutions for people, namely the golden visa. You've also got the green visa. These are all relating to employment and to residency within the UAE. So I think the ones now that are coming into effect will be the more attractive to the individuals within the UAE. So, with the golden visa, you're granted 10 years, irrespective of age, provided you meet certain criteria. And it has to do if you've been here for more than 15 years in the UAE and worked here, if it's you own properties that are valued at 1 million and above. So there are certain criteria for each and every single one of them. They're coming up with new ones to make the UAE more attractive for people to even retire here. It's just a question of the insurance becomes a bit of an issue because, as you grow older, the insurance premiums go up quite a bit. So I think that is the problem.
That's the main cause of concern, certainly. It's being whether you are going to be taking up a lot of the resources when it comes to when it comes to your insurance. So for many people that are looking to get that retirement visa, is it a lot easier if you've been here and working and you're looking to retire here past the age of 60? A lot harder than someone who might be living overseas and wants to come here to retire?
I would think so because, for example, for them to issue any visas, they normally go, through their security protocols. And they have certain criteria that they have to follow in order to grant visas.
Okay.
I would think if you've been working here for the last 10 years, they already have a track record. They have your credit bureau rating. They have your track record with insurance companies because of the authorities. They will know how much you've been earning because of the central bank and the banking system. Mm-hmm. So I would assume that it'll make it more attractive and a faster approach or a faster result from them. I don't think it's something that will block you entirely because, the easiest way, and if you have that kind of money laying around, is you can invest and buy property and you will get the 10-year visa immediately.
Now, if you
it is a way.
There's always a way around it if you're sort of willing to sit down and try and negotiate a solution. It sounds like a fairly obvious question, but if you do come here past the age of 60 on that retirement visa, are you able to do any work at all, whether that be work that's in the UAE or outside the UAE?
See, that's the question again we have to ask is that, with work, so we have to distinguish between immigration and labor or work. Okay. Immigration and work kind of work hand in hand, but they're not mutually exclusive. So you can have somebody who is on a specific type of visa. For example, a perfect example is a spousal visa. It says on it that you are not permitted to work. That's what it says on the visa itself. However, if you are granted an NOC from the person sponsoring you, you can work. So with the retirement, potentially that is the same situation, that you can work based on that visa. It's just who do we have to apply for specific approvals to be able to do so.
Because I'd be thinking there may be people who want to retire in the UAE. They've had a very successful career. They're financially stable. They want to move here, but they still may want to be in a position where they might look to consult for a couple of days a month, whether that's in the country or outside the country.
Mm-hmm. So that's where the setting up your own company with the activity of consultancy comes into play. Mm-hmm. So they would come in, set up the company on their own. They grant themselves an NOC essentially, and they can practice whatever the activities of the companies are. So you can't come in and do, for example, auditing if your company says, interior design. It has to be specific to the activity you're conducting.
I understand.
So I think to your point, most of them who are coming in at the above the age of 60 would probably opt for setting up their own company and finding that consultancy work where they can work around their own time.
I understand. Well, it can be a confusing issue, but it doesn't have to be. If you are looking to get some advice, you can always contact Hamdan Al Shamsi, lawyer and legal consultants. Our partner, Ahmad Al Khalil, thank you very much for joining us again on Talk 100.3.
Thank you for having me, Kitch.
No, it's always good to speak to you. Yeah, it is always good. So there's that issue. What is the official retirement age, and how can employees get a work permit? It doesn't have to be as complicated as you think. There are always ways if you are willing to sit down and try and negotiate the best outcome. You can get in contact. You're on TSB, Talk Sport Business.